I quit drinking almost 10 years ago, and I didn't expect days like today. Today, I absolutely feel terrible. I'm running on zero sleep in about 28 hours. I'm behind on all my work because of that, and it's an unforeseen reason that I got no sleep, which we'll talk about in just a minute. But maybe you're like me. Maybe you're out there and you feel like sobriety isn't really going the way that you want. You're doing all the stuff, you're going to the meetings, maybe you're reading books. You feel like you're doing okay, but deep down it feels like something's off. Maybe you want to return to drinking. Maybe you don't like the way things are. Maybe you thought life was going to be better off as soon as you got sober. Well, today that's what we're going to talk about, and we'll talk about why I don't feel good today as well. So Terry, how you doing?
I'm doing all right. I got a good amount of sleep. I mean, not like 10 hours, but 7 plus.
That's 10 hours more than I got. So no, there you go. But the doctors made me take something for my asthma, and the side effect is that it keeps you up for a while. But I have to watch it. That's one of the things you have to watch in sobriety. And I have to call the doctor and say, hey, can I back off of this sooner than you said? Because I know that a couple more days of this and it could go downhill pretty quick. And that's one of the things that's interesting that you learn in sobriety. Because the first time I had to take these, I didn't realize that the side effect was that they gave you energy and kept you up. And I just took them and I realized that, wait a minute, I like this. I like this feeling. I can work all night and get stuff done and get caught up on things. And then after about 3 days, I was like, wait a minute, this feels like I'm on an upper high that I didn't intend to have, and it crept up on me, and it was kind of scary. But this time around, I'm absolutely hating it. I wish it would go away. I don't want to be up, but I also don't want to cough my way into the ER. So, yeah, you gotta weigh the pros and cons there. But that's one of the things that I didn't expect in sobriety is to have to be real delicate about stuff like that, and that some days you would just feel terrible and you'd have a bad day, and that's okay. Some days it's good enough just to be sober.
Yeah, indeed. Our title, I quit drinking alcohol and didn't expect this. And then our thumbnail says, what does our thumbnail say? I forgot. Anyways, it's just not getting better. And this is something that I see a lot of people comment on during our shows here and talking to other sober or not, maybe not sober and sober alcoholics, that things are just not getting better. And, for my personal experience, when I got sober, things did get better for the most part. Not everything got better. Absolutely not. I was still very physically sick, so that wasn't getting better, although it slowly was. I had issues in those life issues that we tend to cause when we're drinking, and many of those were not solved at all. And did they get better? Certainly not right away. Absolutely not. And that was a challenge, and that's a big challenge for a lot of people. A lot of people when they get sober, maybe they have legal problems or family problems, marriage problems, things like that, or physical problems, and they get sober expecting this stuff to be fixed, and it's not. It's still there, and not only is it still there, is that we have to think about it constantly because we're sober now. We don't get to go hide in the bottle and just and drink our worries away. It's there, and this is a big problem, especially in early sobriety. But even going on, like Marcus is having trouble. He's sick, and we still get those same issues going through life, even if we've had decades of sobriety. Life still happens. And this can be a difficult thing, especially when in the past our answer may have been to go drinking or stay home drinking, whatever the case may be. And it's tough to deal with, and it's tough to find a solution that doesn't involve alcohol. But really, if you look at it in the long run, has alcohol really ever helped? I mean, that's the real question here. For me, what alcohol always did is it gave me a feeling of relief. That's it. Did it solve any of my problems? Never. Has it usually caused more problems? Absolutely. I mean, maybe not all the time, but it usually has. And that's the big dilemma here is it makes us feel good, but at the same time, it's not helping us at all. And alcohol has never helped the situation in my life. And some people think like it, as far as like social activities, alcohol helps with my social life, and or I quit drinking and all my friends were drinking friends, and now I can't even go hang out with them. Or if I do, I gotta drink soda or ice water or whatever, and that's no fun. And then I gotta fight this constant craving because I want that drink, and that's a feeling that a lot of us get, and that's the most difficult part because you get into the a sobriety program or meetings or something like that, and they say, "Don't worry, it will get better." And I agree with them. It will get better if you really work on sobriety and work on a sobriety program. But is it going to just magically get better? Maybe not. For me, it didn't. I had to actually put some effort in. I had to really concentrate on being patient, which that's for an alcoholic, that is just a really difficult thing to do. I want solutions now, and I always have. But patience, it's what's worked for me, is just trying to be patient and working on a sobriety program, working on things that they talk about. There's all these little phrases in the rooms of AA, and they're like living in gratitude, and they seem hokey, but really they work, and that's like living in gratitude. I try to be thankful for what I have. Sometimes the only thing I have that day is the fact that I'm sober. Marcus isn't feeling good. But he has sobriety, and I'd be willing to say, and he'll probably repeat it, that this day may not be good, but it's better than his best day when he was drinking. That's for sure. And that's really what happens for me. Is just the sobriety it's incredible. And the good days are much more often than they were when I was drinking.
Absolutely. Yeah, and it's interesting too because, I look at a day like today and I compare it with a day when I was hungover and messed up. And, I woke up today and I didn't wake up today. I was up. And the lady from the gym who's my trainer texted, and she's like, still coming in at 8:30. And I'm like, well, it's 7 o'clock. So, I guess I can if you don't mind having, someone that looks like they're tired. But it's funny, I was able to go to the gym and I was able to take it easy. And I think what I learned, and this is something that I worked really hard for in sobriety, is to be above your thoughts, right? Usually, and even last time that I had to take this stuff, I wasn't ahead of my thoughts. I liked the feeling. I was into the fact that, I could get energized and work and do all this stuff. But throughout work and throughout realizing that, we are on top of our thoughts. We don't need to be in them. My thoughts want to say, oh, why are you not sleeping? What's going on? What's going on? What's wrong with you? Why can't you get stuff done? Why is your brain not catching up? Why is all this happening? Where now I'm like, hey, you know what? It's the stuff the doctor said to take. It'll be done in a couple days. I can do anything for a couple days. I'll be all right. Whereas before, when I used to drink, it was an ongoing cycle, and I was always in my thoughts. I was always wondering why I thought weird. I never thought to think, oh, it's the alcohol. Never once did I think that. I was like, oh, no, I'm thinking this way because of family stuff or trauma from the past or this or that. It's like, no, it's alcohol. And then I'd toggle. I don't know if you did this, Terry, but I would toggle between alcohol at 7 in the morning and then 4 in the morning. And then around 10 o'clock or sometimes 7 o'clock, I'd start early on coffee. And so I'd toggle between coffee and alcohol and coffee. And I'd get too tired and then I'd have the coffee and then I'd get too wired and then I'd have the alcohol. And I thought that my brain was just adapting to whatever was going on in life. I didn't think I was being chemically controlled. Now I'm sitting here and I'm like, there is a chemical controlling me. Now that I know that, I know I can get out of it as long as I can get out of it while I can, right? If they gave me a 90-day supply, probably not going to happen if I kept on with it and wasn't on top of the way I think. And so looking at that, it's like, wow, not only do you get the benefit of feeling better, even on a day like today, but you're also able to see your thoughts for what they are. I used to think that my thoughts were absolute things. I remember I read The Secret book. Terrible book. Sorry if you like that book, but I think it's terrible. And The Secret book said that our thoughts are things. And this comes from an old biblical principle. It says, as a man thinketh, so is he. Whatever you think about, that's what you are. And it's like, well, really? Well, I know what, you think about when you're growing up. You think about playing and having fun and all that stuff, and that's not who you become. That might be what you do, but that's not what you become. I know people who think about celebrities all the time. Are they celebrities? No, far from it. I know people that think about this or that, and they don't actually become these things because thoughts are not things. Thoughts are chemical impulses in the brain controlled by chemicals. That's it. The minute you think it's anything more than that is the minute you are prone to anxiety, worry, stress, all this stuff. But the beauty that sobriety gives us is the ability to go up a level and say, wait a minute, I'm not my thoughts. I'm not the sum of my thoughts, the sum of the things I've done, or the sum of the things that have been done to me. I am the witness of it. I get to watch, right? And then I can say, oh, hey, there's Marcus. His brain's going crazy because of this or that. Hey, he didn't sleep good. Here's the effects of that. But when I was drinking, I never thought about these things. I was in my thoughts. I thought I was a prisoner of my own brain, as many an addict does. There's actually a book by, I think it's William Burroughs, that talks about that in a really, really good way. And he talks about what it's like. And I don't know if he ever got sober. I know he tried to. And I know he ended up in an asylum. And he talks about what it was like to be a prisoner of his thoughts. And I know what that's like. Terry knows what that's like. I think every alcoholic and addict knows what that's like, because we take our thoughts so seriously. And that's one of the reasons we can't get sober, because our thoughts are stopping us from getting sober. The chemical impulses in your brain created by a chemical are telling you that it's not the chemical, which is like, okay, if there's any screwed up disorder out there, that's probably going to take the cake, right? That's like your broken leg telling you you don't have a broken leg. It's like, well, wait a minute, isn't it right there broken, right? And it's interesting because we don't think about these things, but then once it is brought into your mind, then you kind of have no excuse. You're kind of like, now I know, right? Now I know that is the way it is. It's like, I remember years ago when my wife and I were dating, I used to be a magician, and she hated magic, and I never knew why. I'm like, why do you hate magic? She's like, well, because you showed me stuff, and now I can't unsee it. It's not fun anymore. And it's kind of like that. Once you see the trick for what it is, it's like, hey, this dude's just literally putting a card in his pocket with a little thing taped on the back of it. It's all there is to it. It's nothing fancy. And, it ruined it for her because she saw it. And then once you hear these things and you understand how chemical dependency works, that's what keeps me from going back out. That's what keeps me from drinking, because now I know. I can't, with knowledge, go back and say, I'm going to go back to drinking safely, because I know how it works.
That's it? It's just tape on the back of a card?
Well, for that one trick, yeah.
I know. There's that big popular TV show that some of that magic's pretty incredible.
Oh, man.
Sure, yeah. It's just more complicated tape, I guess. Anyways. I did want to say, KS, man, you say you relapsed. You could start right now from where you are. Doesn't matter what happened. Doesn't matter what you've done so far. You could start right now and stop drinking and move forward. But yeah, do it, man. And Celtic Dave, 33 days. That's, it's really awesome seeing people here and they tell us how much sobriety they got. They're moving along in their sobriety. And yeah, I know you're dealing with stress and some cravings, but so far you've been doing good. That's great. And yeah, you said, I don't want to go through quitting again. Yeah, me too. That's my one of my biggest fears if I was to start drinking again is having to go through that again. That was pretty bad. And somebody else had a year and a half. Was it Andrew? Yeah, good job, man. Congratulations on all your sobriety. And if you're still trying to stop, you can do it, man. You can do it. We do have a program that can help you, but definitely go to a doctor first. And, they're going to make sure you can detox safely because it is dangerous. But right on. Jamie, you're sober today, and your health depends on it. Me too. Absolutely. I was really sick, had high blood pressure, pre-diabetic. If I squatted down to pick up a pencil I dropped and stood up too fast, I'd get dizzy. I wasn't walking the dog very much. I wasn't exercising. Yeah, I was a mess. And I got sober and I was still a mess. That was one of the things that did not get better right away. It took a little while before I was even able to start doing any sort of exercise or anything like that because I had to really go through the doctor to get approval to do things, and then slowly I was able to do that, and all those conditions are gone now, and they've been gone for quite a while, and my numbers are good. So that's the type of thing, I still get the colds here and there, and I haven't gotten COVID throughout the whole thing. I still haven't gotten it yet. I don't know what's up with that. I've been around it, been exposed to it directly with a family member, and I don't know what the deal is. Strange, but anyways, things can get better, and really, you've heard it a million times, but you do have to be patient about it. There are some direct things that you really do need to do as you're moving through life and trying to stay sober. And in the beginning, it's real basic things. It's staying away from alcohol. And for me, I had to get away from those drinking friends. And even though I considered them good friends, and many of them still are, I just don't go drinking with them. But staying out of those drinking establishments. Marcus was talking about how, our thoughts can control us. And take that to heart that, that your thoughts we get this feeling that our thoughts are controlling us, but that's not the case. We don't have to listen to those. At the same time, we can change our focus and take our focus away from the fun, from the perceived fun we had when we were drinking. I had a lot of fun when I was drinking, so I shouldn't say the perceived fun, but the fact that you can have fun doing all of those things without drinking. And for me, that was a big eye opener, is understanding that I can still go to concerts. I can still go out to eat. No, I don't go to bars. Okay, that's one thing that I don't let myself do. But I can go to weddings and events and all those fun things that we thought we needed to have alcohol for. And for me, I don't need it anymore. And it's not part of what I do. And if I'm at a party and people are getting, everybody's drinking and they're drinking a lot, that's, maybe it's time to step away and get away from that situation. And that's the type of thing that I try to do, is just steer away from it. But I don't have to hide from alcohol anymore. In the beginning, I did. There might be some other people on the YouTube channels that say that no, you can, boom, you can be done, no cravings, no nothing. I wouldn't take that risk. For me, my sobriety is life dependent, and for me, I have to do whatever I can. And in the beginning, that was making alcohol completely out of my life. I didn't really say that sentence right, but really getting completely away from it as much as I could. You can only avoid it so much. But that's what I had to do. And Marcus has put up our program in our website, and it's talksober.com, and you can go over there and check us out. And we have a recovery program there, and that's in the yellow there, and you just join our online recovery class. and it's a 30-day program. You can take as long as you want with it, but each day has a video and a letter, a PDF, and a little exercise for you, and then what to do from day 1 to day 2 to day 3. What kind of things do you need to think about? What kind of things do you need to do? And the whole a lot of what you need to do is not drink, but it's a great program. It's what I've done and what Marcus has done to get sober and stay sober, and that's what we do to this day. You can also get a private call with Marcus and myself, and it's a 1-hour call, and you could just go to the sign-up sheet there and fill out all the necessary information. And we also have a free Facebook group. You can join that at any time and just put in a request, and I'll check it out and make sure that you're not a bot or something, and I'll approve you.
Awesome. Yeah, guys, you can head over to talksober.com, help support what we're doing here on the channel. If you guys are getting value out of it and we're helping you guys get sober, let us know in the comments, and feel free to join the groups over there. Even if it's just the free resources we have there, those are there for you as well as the Facebook group and everything like that. And as always, we are here every, what's today? Tuesday. Every Tuesday. Here to help you guys get and stay sober. And in the course there, we have a lot of stuff that we've personally gone through. It's not like oh, hey, here's some book written by people who just think they know about alcohol. This is people who've gone through it. We've gone through this stuff. We had to get sober. Both of us went to rehab. We learned a lot of things along the way. We were pretty hopeless cases. Like, there was nothing that was going to help me. I tried everything. I tried self-help, tried videos, tried all kinds of stuff, and nothing seemed to work until I really went through this and understood, hey, this is what's going to get me sober. These are the mindsets that are going to help me. And I find that those are things that have helped a lot of people. There's a lot of people here that have gone through and changed their mind about drinking. Obviously, we're not doctors or physicians or anything like that. This is just our experience. You should always go to a doctor if you're detoxing from alcohol or any substance, because it can be very, very dangerous. With that said, when you're ready to learn about the mindset stuff, that's what we're here to talk about. And not mindset stuff like, let's go to a Tony Robbins convention, which, I mean, some people like those, to each his own. It's more like, hey, these are hard-hitting things that we need to understand about the way our brain works. We need to understand, hey, our brain does this when we do this. Hey, when this chemical is introduced, you're going to be thrown for a loop. Here's how to take care of that. Hey, when things get really stressful, here's what happens in your brain. Here's what's going on. Here's how to combat that. And what you're going to learn is that in sobriety, it's all about the tools you have. The tools that you have are going to help you stay sober. They're going to give you options, and those options are going to be things that you do instead of drinking. And if you have lots of options and lots of tools and they work well, you can stay sober for a long time. However, if you're relying on one thing, like, oh, hey, I stayed sober for a week, yay me, okay, that's probably not going to be enough of a tool to get you through the next week or the next year or whatever it is. Even when I got out of rehab, Terry and I both got out of rehab within a couple days of each other. Terry ended up drinking again out of rehab. I did not. And I'd like to say that it's because I'm just this great, strong-willed person. Well, no, it's because I was terrified. I was terrified of drinking again. I was literally afraid. That was the tool I used. For a long time, the tool was, I am terrified that if I drink again, I'm not going to make it back. I was scared of that.
And when I finally did quit, that was really a preliminary tool for me. I didn't want to go through what I went through. Yeah. And when I did start drinking again out of rehab, alcohol was not off of the table for me. It was still an option. It had to become not an option anymore for me.
Yep. And that's really important. Now, that's a tool in early sobriety that can work really well. If you want other tools in later sobriety, these are the ones that we've found over at talksober.com, where it's like, okay, what am I going to use when I have a fight with the spouse? What am I going to use when the kids are mad at me? Which happens when they get older. I don't know what happens. They just get mad at you. But, all kinds of things. What are we going to do? How are you going to deal with that? What are you going to do if the doctor makes you take something that makes you feel a way you don't want to feel? or maybe a way you do want to feel. What are you going to do? What are the tools that you're going to have at your disposal that are going to help you through these things? It's about living life on a new term, living life on more of a on top of it way instead of in it and having everything come at you. I used to think that life happened to me. Everything happened to me. Oh, this is going on. It's to me. No, life's happening to everyone. I just happen to be in the path of whatever's going on in my direction. But there's a lot of things going on in life, and I'm seeing only one sliver of what's going on. And having that tool of knowing how my brain works and how I compartmentalize and how at the end of the day, when it really gets down to it, my emotional brain and my regular brain are pretty not smart. I mean, I like to read, I like learning things, but I'm really not that smart when it comes down to it. I have to train myself to think different ways. I have to train myself to say, hey, wait a minute, this is a chemical. Hey, wait a minute, this is not going to last forever. Hey, wait a minute. And you see this all the time, and we have an election year coming up. You'll see it even more. People will compartmentalize things that don't go together. Oh, this politician caused that. Really, it's been around since the 30s, but I'm glad that you think this new person caused that. And a lot of things get really generalized. And you know, one of the things that I did out of sobriety, when I got sober out of rehab, was I learned critical thinking. I was like, okay, well, clearly I don't have that skill. So I need to go learn that skill because, you know, it's going to be helpful. And I learned how thought processes work. I learned about fallacies that we have in our mind. I learned about, you know, the ways that there's like all these Latin terms for all these things that are like, oh, if you believe this because of this, that's this thing. And a lot of times we don't see it because we just listen. And we're taught that way. You watch TV, it's all that way. Like there ain't nothing on TV that is not biased in some way, shape, or form. And it doesn't even matter where. Like, oh, it's the left, it's the right, it's all of it. Everything has this fallacy because that's what people respond to. And once you realize, hey, I'm being duped by everything. I was duped by alcohol, I was duped by this, duped by the TV. Now I'm just going to decide what I want to think and what I want to believe. And that I can be wrong. And I think one of the most important tools in sobriety is the fact that I can be wrong. Before I couldn't be. I'd argue, oh, I know everything. Now I'm like, yeah, I really don't know much of anything. But I try to make it by. And these are the tools I use to get sober, and it helps me. And it works for me. And I think it works for Terry too, which is pretty cool.
Oh yeah, being able to admit that I'm wrong is that's big. I'm wrong a lot. But great comments, everybody. Thank you so much. Really appreciate you being here.
Awesome. All right, good deal. David says he's using the program at a slower rate, but it makes me feel accountable. That's good. Yeah, I think it's a lot of people go through it several times. A lot of people go through it slower. Some people go through it faster. It just depends on what you're looking for. And if you do want to get that, check out talksober.com. Check out the links there. You can sign up, and we'll see you there and next week.
Right on. Thank you, everyone.